teams' rim attempts when you're on the floor are 45% of your shots. That's not from you dining someone. That's from your movement. When you're off the floor, it's still pretty high, but it's down to 27%. That's pretty good. So your influence is 18 percentage points on rim attempts, and that's not from you. That's just people's respect for your gravity, the game plan of do we switch, do we bump, do we show, like you staying at home, like you talked about screening, they don't want to leave your body. The decisions, we got some clips to pull up here of the finals.
Oh yeah, it's most dangerous.
Okay, LeBron James just said something on his show that changes everything about how we should see. Caitlin Clark. It's crazy that no one in the WNBA is paying attention. You can almost see LeBron having this moment where he says, wait, this is exactly what people get wrong about elite players. Steve Nash is putting down the numbers. You'll understand why the Fever might be making the biggest mistake in the history of the brand by the end. You don't think that...
I'm going to stop it right there. They're talking about Steph's rookie season where he put on muscle and he started shooting the ball worse. And if you guys remember during the WNBA season when Caitlin Clark was in her shooting slump, again, we do not know why Caitlin was in such a slump this last season. It could have been because of the lingering injuries that she had. Of course, they jumped from leg to leg. But you have two of the best basketball players of all time sitting on this podcast right here and talking about gaining muscle mass to your body, how that can affect your
What do you see happen there? The coach of Steph Curry walked right into the training room and yelled at everyone there. Why? They made his beginner shooter bigger, which messed up his shot. This is where things go crazy. When Kathy started her second season, she was a lot bigger and had a lot more muscle than Iowa. Then what took place? Her three-point average dropped by a huge amount. Everyone didn't understand why she stopped shooting so well. Analysts were not able to figure it out. The fans were scared, but two of the best players ever just told you what happened. Most people think that getting stronger is always a good thing. More power, more explosiveness, and better defense. But LeBron is honest about the fact that many guys with a certain style are told to gain weight, which can affect their shot. This idea is not made up on the spot. LeBron James is showing you how to tell the difference between great shooters. Because their movements are so precise, even small changes in muscle mass can throw everything off. The scary thing is that Steph's coach saw it right away. Camp for the first week. He's making sure he has the skills of generations before the season starts, but shots aren't falling. We don't know if anyone talked to Caitlin about the fever, though. She hasn't said that her teachers ever told her, hey, we need to slow this down. What did we hear instead during the season? She needs to work faster and better. There are too many mistakes. She might want to shoot less. The police reacted with all their might. And that way of thinking, that focus on perfect numbers, is the exact opposite of what Golden State did with Steph.
And now this was before the new age of the NBA when everybody is just shooting so many threes.
And now it's like, it's not uncommon for like 3-4 guys on your roster to shoot hundreds of threes.
Shot quality is still, still out on where the league is. Bob Marr's the first one who told me, like, yo, you should shoot 15 threes a game. I was like, what? Like, you know how hard it is to get 12 good looks up? Like, but he's one of those, like, why not? The math says, 15 threes for you is great. Like, oh, yeah, so you start thinking about it. But, yeah, the game strength is more crazy.
What was it? Was it that conversation? Was it Stevie Curry?
Hold on, please. Steph Curry was told by the Warriors general manager to make 15 three-pointers in every game. And what did Steph do? He himself thought it was crazy. But look at what came next. They weren't just picking a number at random. They looked into the crime. They judged the quality of the shots. They knew Steph Curry's 15 three-pointers were different from those of other players because of how hard he hit them and how defenders responded. Because the bad shots he took helped everyone else get better shots. Think about the WNBA, talk about Caitlin. How many times have people told you that she keeps the ball too much or that the foreplay works better when she doesn't push it? That's the way of thinking that would have kept Steph Curry from making 15 three-pointers per game. This could have been a safe move for the Warriors. They might have told them, let's keep you working hard. Don't go for those deep ones, wait until you look better. They went all in instead. They said, you're changing the game, so we're changing our entire offensive philosophy around you. This is what really amazes me. Steph made 2,000 more three-pointers from one season to the next. Not 20 or 50, that's not even a small change. These actions show how dedicated the group is to letting their hero shine. Simply put, we trust you to run the games. There are no rules or efficiency cops.
What was the impetus behind taking up 200?
The way that we created shots was a big part of it. The offense that he instilled, where it was less, traditional pick and roll, less pick on game,
movement,
more movement,
post to pass,
all that stuff. Where you're creating, the concept of all 15 threes, cool, but they're not all created equal in terms of game pressure, the rhythm and flow of how is it one pass shot? Is it the ball's changed side 3 times and you're coming off and you move, touched it, got back, relocated? That's a different shot percentage wise than the exact same shot from the exact same spot.
Okay, Steph just told us something important that we all miss. Not in the way most people think he means when he talks about photo quality. It's not enough to just be open and close to the basket. It's all about the beat. It all depends on how the offense moves. Steph moves, and with one pass, he scores 3 points. After the ball has been moved around 3 times, that shot from the same spot is very different. Different rates for the same distance and shooter. The Fever's attack has had a hard time because Caitlin causes so much trouble. She can break down defenders because she has long range and can pass the ball well. You're wasting her power, though, if the system isn't set up to make the most of that chaos. Golden State's whole attack is based on how mobile Steph Curry is. It's not just when he has the ball. I don't have it. They saw that Steph was moving and cutting the back entry while running from the screens. All of this makes the flow that makes those threes happen 40 to 45% of the time. But what did Caitlin show us? A lot of standing and being alone. After making a great pass, she'd just sit back and watch. It's not her fault. That's a problem with the method. You need to be able to move when you have a player who can shoot from 30 feet and make passes through triple teams. You need to move around a lot. You need everyone else to understand that the magic happens when she drops the ball.
Shoot 15, and Steph Curry talks about he went from one season shooting a certain amount of threes to the next season he shot over 200 more threes in that next season. And this is where Steph Curry starts to make leaps in his career. He's shooting more threes, but he's also becoming a greater player. The Warriors are starting to win. Like, all of these things contribute to a winning system of basketball because they are setting up the style of basketball for a player like Steph Curry, for a player who is changing the game with the way that he plays, the generational shooter and talent that is Steph Curry. And I think there's also been this really weird efficiency.
Did you hear what Steve Nash said? When Steph is lying down, the Warriors try to make 45% of their shots at the basket. It drops to 27% when he's not on the court. There is an 18% change there. Steph isn't the one making the jump shots either. He makes them for other people. Because of how heavy he is, defenders fall apart, spin, and scramble, leaving a huge opening for a layup. This has something to do with everything we've heard this season about Caitlin. The Fever's strike works better when she isn't there. While she sits, they move the ball around more. What does this tell me? The coaching team hasn't figured out how to best use her yet. Because it should be the other way around if you're using the right method. When the best players of your age sit, your offense will suffer. Your gaps should get smaller. Your chances to score should stop coming up. While Caitlin was on the floor, we saw this happen with Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah got a lot more easy looks. The paint came up. The three-point line had to be respected by the defense. When Caitlin sat down, Aaliyah became twice as big. The attack has stopped moving, and everyone is trying to make shots. There's no chance in that. There it is, gravity. In this game, the best players do this. Just by being on the game, they make everyone else better.
As a competitor, and as a dear friend now, having guys not truly understand what that means when you're competing against a guy like that, it grinds you in the head. Because it's a natural reaction. It's a natural reaction. The most dangerous guy gives the ball up. The first thing you do is, I did a great job. Right. He is most dangerous when he gives the ball up.
I'm going to stop it right there because this clip right here reminded me of so many media personalities and fans and whatnot just saying that the Indiana Fever are better when Caitlin Clark is not playing. And then you look back to when she's on the floor, what is actually happening when she's on the floor. Obviously, she's a ball dominant player, just like...
Okay, this is the part that made me want to make the whole movie. He says the most dangerous player gives up the ball. But you should first calm down because he is most dangerous when he gives the ball to someone else. Read it one more time. When Steph passes, the players think they've done something. Now I can breathe, they think. Okay, I made him give it up. But the Warriors' offense really gets going at that point because Steph is moving without the ball. He's setting up the screens. He's turning the corner. He is cutting the back door. The defense has to decide what to do. Which is it? Should I stay with Steph and leave my boyfriend, or should I help with the drive and give Steph an open three? There isn't a right answer. That's what makes it so great. The Warriors set up a system where Steph passing the ball is more dangerous than Steph having the ball. Think about how many times you saw Caitlin make a great pass and then just stand there. Even worse, how many times have you heard the announcers say that Caitlin's fever made her give up the ball like it was the goal? That is the exact opposite of what LeBron says. The end of order should come with Caitlin's death. Everyone needs to move around. The screens should go away. It should scare the defense to see the best passer in the league, who also shoots 40% from three-point range, running around without the ball. However, the Fever's attack doesn't do that. Caitlin passes and then she just watches. The player has nothing to do with that. That's a problem with the teaching. That's a problem with the method. To use a historical opportunity is one thing, but to hope she finds it on her own is another.
That's the thing that a lot of people don't talk about when it comes to you is that the weight and the strength that you put on and still being able to shoot the ball in that capacity. There's a lot of guys that we've seen come in at a certain weight or a certain, body frame, and they're told to put on weight or they're told to put on strength, and it can affect their shot, and it's actually, there's no way it could have made it better, but it seems like nothing ever changed. How was that? Like, did that worry you in the beginning? Like, oh shit, that's something I gotta get stronger now.
Funny story. So my rookie year, in training camp, so I came in as...
That being said, let's talk about what's going on behind the scenes. Steph Curry joined the NBA at 180 pounds, not very strong and not very thick. Because that's what you do with rookies, right? The Warriors training staff put him on a bulk program right away. Make them bigger, more durable, and ready for the hard work that an NBA season will bring. That said, it messed up his shot completely. During the first week of camp, Steph is throwing trash. The way he works is wrong. It feels weird to let him go. Everything is messed up. Here, the Warriors showed what it means to protect a player who will be great for years to come. His teacher, Don Nelson, walks into the weight room and turns it off. Now it's time to change the software. No, you should probably slow down. He just yelled, "Stop. We're not going to give up this kid's gun skills for anything." That is clear order. That means you know what makes your star player special and won't give up on it. Let's skip ahead to Caitlin's second year. She comes up bigger and stronger, and her shot starts to have trouble. Did anyone from the Fever say, "We messed up" in public? We need to change. Any teacher say that Caitlin's shooting is more important than anything else? Or did we just hear that she needs to work through it as part of getting used to things? The main difference is what they value. The Golden State Warriors were most interested in Steph Curry's shot. Strength, defense, and endurance were no longer important. It looked like the Fever were more interested in making Caitlin fit into their system than making one around her. This is a terrible way to waste a generation's skills.
And I feel like it wasn't talked about that much, but something that I truly appreciate about this podcast is it is a basketball podcast. It's not all of the other things. Like when you watch a show like this and you watch it with players, I think it's so fascinating because the guys who are on the show are at the best of the best. So just hearing their basketball IQ, and like they went over some highlights at the end of this, but you're hearing from the best of the best. And Steph Curry goes on to talk about like the full chain of events that happens when you're shooting the basketball, and that's also something that I talked about during this past season. And myself being a shooter, that was my...
Listen to what Steph says about his own way. He talks about having an impact on the game both with and without the ball. That is what makes him special. The Warriors didn't try to change that either. What they didn't say was whether you should be more of a standard shooting guard or point guard. They said to be both, so that's what we'll do. In the WNBA, on the other hand, traditional roles are very important. The point guard should be the first to pass. Guards who shoot should get up. These cute little boxes have to fit everyone. And when someone like Caitlin breaks all of those rules, the question isn't how can we make this work best, but how can we make her fit? A lot of experts said that Caitlin needed to get better at playing off the ball. She had to find a way to play without the ball. Yes, she can get better at that skill. Do you know what the Warriors were able to do with Steph Curry? They did not wait for him to become a great player off the ball. They set up an attack that made his moves when he wasn't on the ball dangerous right away. Constant screens, motion sets, and moves were made to get him to look up while he was moving. It's fine that the Fever used a lot of isolation and pick and roll, but it doesn't make the most of Caitlyn's skills. She does more than just score. You can't just walk by her. She can use her gravity to break down a wall and then use her vision to punish them. But you need a system that makes those chances happen. Players need to be able to cut at the right time. You need enough space so that defenders can't help too much. To get the most out of superstars who aren't typical, you need teachers who know how to use this to your advantage.
Like, Steph Curry to me is one of the most fascinating NBA players because he did change the game. He changed the game because he spread the floor. He showed players that you don't have to shoot right on the three-point line. Like, he was taking a couple steps over half court and shooting those three-pointers. Like, he plays with such an energy and an excitement that got a lot of casual fans involved. And he did all of this at being 6'2", being on the smaller side. But then you get to hear what's happening behind the scenes, and you hear how much of the Warriors organization.
Now this is where things really get interesting. Steph talks about how he changed the game, how he taught players they didn't have to shoot from the three-point line, and how his range made defenders go out to half court. Even though he was only 6'12", he did all of this. He wasn't the most athletic player on the court either. But his skill wasn't the only thing that made this possible. The group thought he was good. You know the story about how the general manager told him to make 15 three-pointers. It's no longer just a number. That's a message. That's the boss telling you, we really believe in you. We want you to completely ignore what most people think is right. That would be like being a player and your general manager telling you to just shoot more, not be more efficient, or pick better spots. We believe in you. Caitlyn, did you ever get the message? What did we hear? She needs to do less turning the ball over. She should pick and choose better. She goes through too many times. That's the cops of efficiency. That way of thinking keeps players safe instead of helping them do their best. Now comes the crazy part. Steph played bad. In some games, he only hit 1 out of every 13. He got 2 points some games. The Warriors never gave up, though. They never told Steph he should shoot less. They knew that playing bad games was the price they had to pay to become great. There's a lot of talk about bad games in the WNBA, though. Is she too praised? Is she really making the team worse? She might not be ready for this level. That's not the way to make a success. This is how you make people doubt you. That's how you get a player to doubt their every move instead of playing with the confidence that makes them special.
That isn't the best shot that we could have taken in that possession. And the mindset around these two players, which I feel like when you have a player like Steph or you have a player like Caitlyn, it should be similar. You should be instilling so much confidence in that player. It's been handled differently, at least from what we know publicly. The next clip I want to share with you guys is about Steph Curry's off-ball movement. So listen to this.
So LeBron is talking about Caitlyn's movement when she's not on the ball. As he tries to explain it, you can see him getting angrier because only the best players get it, but regular fans don't. When someone like Steph or Caitlyn is in your care, your job doesn't end when they pass the ball. After that, your job really starts. After forcing a pass, most players take a break. When players like Steph think they have the ball, that's when they become the most dangerous. You can't lose them for even a second because they're cutting, screening, and moving. LeBron says it bothers him because he has to fight his natural habits to stay focused, even though he is one of the smartest defenders of all time. Think about how the Fever used Caitlyn when she wasn't playing ball. Not enough. Not nearly enough. She should have been sending players through screens all the time. Before going out for threes, she should have been the one to move the screens back to make room for cuts. Teams should have had to decide whether to help her at the basket or leave the league's best scorer open. Instead, we saw Caitlyn bring the ball up, make a play, and then stand in the corner over and over again. It's not her fault. That's what the crime is. Steph's movement is the most important part of the Warriors' plan. They have moves called split, Spain, and elevator that are meant to get his eyes open to movement.